No, escalator brushes aren't there to clean your shoes. These bristles mark the edges of the steps. If you stand too close to the edge, your shoelaces or loose hanging clothes could be dragged into the gap between the stairs and the wall. Ooh. We instinctively step back when we feel the brush touch our leg. The extra pocket on the right side of a suit jacket is called the ticket pocket. First, they were used to store coins for people on horseback to pay toll booths without having to open their jackets. Then, when train travel became popular, they held tickets and passes for easy access. As for the left chest pocket, it was used to store handkerchiefs, keeping them away from the other cluttered and dirty pockets. The hole in a pen cap is there in case the thing gets swallowed. It allows air to flow through. Lego heads have holes in them for the same reason. Go look at your bathroom sink. Really? See the hole up near the rim? It's there to prevent overflows. Excess water goes into the siphon, and your floor stays dry in case you forgot to shut the water off. It also helps your sink drain faster instead of glugging down slowly as it fights air resistance. The hole gives that air somewhere to escape. There's a special oval-shaped compartment under the flap of the Tic Tac container. It's supposed to make it easier to extract one little mint at a time. Well, if you still like the idea of having a handful of them, I can't blame you. Which side of your car is the gas tank on? Well, it may be a tricky question if you're driving a rented vehicle or some brand new wheels, but just look at the little gas pump on your dashboard fuel indicator. The little arrow points to which side the tank is on. Holes in tube-like coffee stirring sticks help reduce resistance from the liquid, so they can stir the sugar more efficiently, and we're thankful for that. This design also makes the plastic stick sturdier and protects it from bending in hot water. And manufacturers save money by using less plastic when the thing is hollow. The microwave door looks completely black when it's off, but when you're heating up your food, you can see through it. Look closely. It's not just a black glass, it's a special mesh against regular glass. This protective metal screen keeps the microwave energy inside. Dimples on the surface of a golf ball make it look cuter. No, actually the dimples increase its lift and reduce air resistance, meaning a ball can go further with them. In my case, it goes further into the trees and ponds. These dimples don't have to be spherical, they can be hexagonal or any other shape. But choose carefully. The slightest change in form or depth can really affect the ball's performance. The doors of toilet stalls don't reach the floor. Yeah, so you know when it's occupied. But these gaps are also there for emergency access in case the person inside needs immediate medical help. The gap is also good for ventilation. Well, I don't know. Sometimes it's better to keep things to yourself, you know what I mean? Coins were given ribbed edges to stop people from shaving off parts of them to make whole new coins. The ridges make it obvious when a coin has been tampered with. Now look at the metal part on a stapler's bottom. Turns out this small plate can be rotated 180 degrees. After that, the stapler will bend the pins of the staples outward. This makes more temporary staples that are much easier to remove. The picture on UK coins seem incomplete and random because they all make a puzzle. If you put together all the denominations from the 1 penny to the 50 pence, you'll see the royal shield. Airplane windows have holes in them to keep from shattering from air pressure differences, but only some of them. The window has 3 layers of glass. The outer pane is made from a sturdy material that can withstand air pressure differences during takeoff and landing. The inner panel is made of cheaper material and prevents potential damage to the window. The hole in the middle pane balances that airflow. It also keeps the windows from fogging up. Almost every padlock has a tiny, mysterious hole near the turnkey hole. It's there so water can drain out after a rainy day. Also, if your lock got jammed, the right way to lubricate it is through this hole. Those little buttons, they're actually called rivets, on jeans, were originally put there to keep the seam from ripping. Jeans back then were worn mostly by miners and other laborers who put their pockets under a lot of daily wear and tear. We don't put our pockets under such stress these days, but the tradition of rivets stuck around. And no, it's not true that the rivets were named in honor of the frogs the California prospectors found while panning for gold. Most of the buttonholes on a shirt are vertical, but the top and sometimes bottom are horizontal. The reason is simple. These two slip out more often than the other buttons. So the horizontal buttonhole can stop your garment from popping open like the lid on a cheap suitcase. Next time you're struggling to peel off that tiny foil cover on a tube of ointment or cream, look at the top of the cap. It normally has a spike on it for this exact purpose. Every toothpick comes with its own handy little holder. Just break off the top, put it on the table, and place your toothpick between the notches, pointy end up. Now it won't touch the table and get all dirty. You can do the same thing with disposable chopsticks. Break off the top piece before you pull them apart. A typical box cutter has lines on its blade. These lines show where the blade can be broken if it gets dull. When doing this, use the removable sleeve on the backside. It's safer this way. Soda bottles are always filled in such a way that there's some space between the liquid level and the cap. That's because these drinks contain carbon dioxide. This gas can expand if the bottle gets heated. If there's no air gap in the bottle, it'll break because of the pressure building inside. Also, when you open your drink, the gases go out in the form of bubbles, and the drink is likely to overflow. The gap helps with this problem too, except if you shake it up first, then open it. No, I've never done that. There are sounds most people can't stand, like the sound of a fingernail on a blackboard or someone scratching a window. Such noise irritates the amygdala. That's a small part of your brain controlling your emotions, including fear and survival instincts. Some cheeses have holes in them. They're called eyes. These eyes are made by bacteria used in the process of production. When cheese is almost ready, these bacteria release carbon dioxide, and this gas forms bubbles that later become the cheese's eyes. See? Cats knock different things over because of their hunting instincts. Your cat is simply checking whether the thing is alive or not, or it might want your attention. Cats are smart and know that humans come very fast when something is broken. When the pizza dough is ready, it gets manually spun in the air. This process removes lumps and creates its circular shape. It's more convenient to bake a round pizza. This way it gets heated evenly. Plus, it's easier to cut a round pizza into equal parts. There have been reports of raining frogs, fish, and other unusual stuff dating back to ancient civilizations. Strong winds, such as those in a tornado or hurricane, sometimes get so powerful that they can lift up a school of fish or frogs and rain them somewhere miles away. Lightning is never a triangle, straight line, or circle. It always has a zigzag shape. Lightning is an electric current, and it always takes the path of least resistance. Air is uneven and irregular, containing dust particles, gases, and other substances. So, lightning just seeks the best way through. Flowers have different colors because of the color pigments they contain. But there are other factors, for example, the amount of light they receive while growing, or the temperature of the environment around them. Even the pH level of the soil can have an impact on flowers' coloration. By tilting their head, dogs try to understand all you're saying correctly. It's the way to adjust their ears to the sounds they hear. It may also be the way to show their empathy to the owner. Or they got something stuck in there. Tickling is bound to cause a laughter reflex, but nothing will happen if you tickle yourself. That's because there will be no element of surprise. Your brain knows what you're going to do. Barcodes speed up the purchasing process. If a barcode consists of 12 digits, the one on the very left is a system identifier. For example, 2 means it's a randomly weighed item. 3 is used for products related to health. The next 5 digits identify the manufacturer. And the following 5 are the product's number. The last one is the check digit. Scanners need it to make sure they've read the code correctly. The song is bound to get stuck in your head if its music is simple, the text is repetitive and short, and the rhythm makes you move. Another reason you might have an earworm is that you hear some songs too often, and your brain can easily detect them. Highlighters are filled with a special semi-transparent fluorescent ink that can glow in dim light. Yellow and light green hues are the most popular because they don't prevent you from seeing the text after black and white photocopying. Photocopiers perceive yellow and light green marks as very pale and don't print them. With age, your hair loses its natural color. It happens because keratin receives less pigment. As people grow older, the pigment cells in their hair follicles gradually vanish, and hair becomes gray. Some time passes and no pigment is produced at all. That's when hair turns white. Trees stop growing at a certain age. It might be because when a tree reaches a particular height, it gets difficult for it to pull water from the soil. Because after that, it needs to pump it all the way to the top, and that's when gravity comes into play. Some trees, like the baobab, start growing out instead of up once they reach their full height. Your own body makes mosquito bites swell and itch. A mosquito breaks your skin. Your immune system perceives the insect's saliva as a foreign substance, so it starts a special reaction to flush the intruder out of your body. A compound produced by the immune system, called histamine, makes the blood flow faster around the bitten area, and it causes the swelling. The histamine also sends a signal to the nearest nerves, which makes the bite itch. Geese usually fly in a V-shaped formation to conserve energy and make sure none of their team members get lost. You can't hum while holding your nose. Trust me. During humming, you exhale air, but when both your mouth and your nose are closed, the air can't escape. The longer you can hum like this is 2 seconds. Then you'll have to open your mouth and catch your breath. Road and construction workers are usually dressed in orange because the bright orange hue is visible even in bad weather. It's the most effective color to attract attention and alert people. No wonder lots of safety jackets and traffic cones are orange as well. Modern-day, perfectly round coins used to be shaped randomly or have no shape whatsoever in the past. But dishonest people stole valuable metals the coins were made of by chipping their corners off. Of course, it was illegal. To prevent this kind of fraud, they invented round coins. After that, it instantly became obvious when the coins had been fiddled with. That extra pocket on the right side of a suit jacket is called the ticket pocket. They used to store coins for people on horseback to pay toll booths without opening their jackets. When train travel became more popular, they were perfect for tickets and passes. As for the left chest pocket, it's used to store handkerchiefs, keeping them away from the other cluttered and dirty pockets. Metallic zippers have a hidden lock built in. Next time you've put on a pair of pants, shorts, or skirt, never leave the zipper handle in an upward position. Push the little zipper tab downwards and it'll automatically lock. To mute your annoying beeping microwave, look closely at the front panel for a sound button. It may have been there all along, just begging to be pressed. If there's no button, try pressing and holding 1, 0, stop, or cancel. Will either result in turning off the beeping sounds or activating a lock feature. Of course, if your microwave doesn't have any mute function at all, you'll just have to keep running to stop the timer late at night. Nintendo Switch cartridges have a hidden safety function, and it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. Although non-toxic, denatonium benzoate coats the cartridge in a sour, peppery, and bitter substance to prevent kiddos from swallowing them. This chemical compound is one of the most bitter flavors known to humanity, commonly used to keep people from consuming things they're not meant to. There's not much privacy while using a public toilet, especially when the door doesn't reach the floor at all. But these gaps are there for emergency access, in case the person inside needs immediate help. The gap also works for ventilation, thank goodness, and to stop people from lingering around the toilet too long. Toothpicks have a built-in holder to prevent you from just leaving them on the table. Just break off the top, it's that simple. Place that on your table and your toothpick between the notches, pointy end up of course. Now it won't touch the table and get all dirty. You can do the same with disposable chopsticks. Break off the top piece before you pull them apart. Those tiny dimples on golf balls actually give a greater lift to the ball and reduce air resistance, meaning the ball can go further with them. These dimples come in spherical and hexagonal shapes, with each slightest change affecting the ball's performance, so choose them carefully. Plastic wrap boxes have hidden little holders that stop the roll from jumping out of the box. They're little cardboard tabs on the sides that lock into the tube inside while making it easy to glide the film out. Just push them in and never be frustrated again. Gosh, I wish that would work with other stuff. The 7 spikes on top of the Statue of Liberty's crown don't represent the 7 seas and the 7 continents at all. They're representing the sun's rays, giving a halo to show that she is divine. In the United States, 12 different Federal Reserve banks print all the money, so if you want to know where your money comes from, just look for these small codes: A1 Boston, B2 New York, C3 Philadelphia, D4 Cleveland, E5 Richmond, F6 Atlanta, G7 Chicago, H8 St. Louis, I9 Minneapolis, J10 Kansas City, K11 Big D Little A Double LAS. It's a song. L12 San Francisco. Never call it Frisco. Meanwhile, the bristles on the side of every escalator are in place to encourage people to stay away from the edge, meaning they're less likely to face a mishap with a trapped bag or shoelace. Did you hear about the octopus caught on the escalator? It was a stretch. Old-fashioned pincushions that are large tomato with a strawberry attached are more than a place for your needles. The strawberry contains an emery board. When you stick your pins and needles into the strawberry, the emery board keeps them rust-free and sharpens them as well. Some people still forget to engage the hose from their car after filling up with gas. Luckily, a lot of gas companies realize this, so if you happen to drive off with the hose still attached to your car, there's a magnetic connector that disengages when pulled. Those different colored bread tags use a color-coded system to show the day that they were baked. They are usually blue tags for Mondays, green tags for Tuesdays, red tags Thursdays, white tags Fridays, and yellow tags for Saturdays. On the back of most beauty products, you'll find a small symbol on the back that indicates how long it'll stay good for. For example, 2M means 2 months after opening. Some jackets have those extra flaps with a button on the shoulder, and they actually have a use. These are perfectly designed for holding your purse, backpack, or bag in place and secure. Pom-poms on the top of beanies were never just a fashion statement. They were for protection, placed on top of the headwear to protect sailors from accidentally hitting their heads while moving around on a ship. Pom-poms touch the roof, so don't go any higher. They don't appear on every type of measuring tape, but diamonds or black circles are there to help contractors measure the proper placement of studs in a wall. Those little holes on your baseball cap aren't some fashion trends that stuck around for years and have never been changed. These holes are actually called eyelets, and they're to keep your head well ventilated, not for appearance. If you have YKK printed on your zipper, they're not some secret code to be cracked. Those 3 letters appear on so many zippers globally because they're the symbol of the world's most universal zipper manufacturer, the YKK Group. Every can of soda comes with a tab for easy opening of the tasty beverage, and every single one of them has a relatively large hole in the top. While it can make it easier to get your finger under the tab to get your soda, its intended purpose is a straw holder. Spin the tab over the opening and place your straw through it to secure it in. Disposable lids do a great job of keeping your drink inside the cup, but that's not its only purpose. When you're ready to sip on your drink, the lid has specially designed ridges to double it as a coaster and hold onto the bottom of your beverage tightly. The tiny black dot between the lens and the flash on the back of your iPhone is actually for a great purpose. It's the third microphone to provide superior sound quality by eliminating background noises and to pick up your voice much clearer in a crowded environment. So anyone who's ever licked a Nintendo Switch cartridge will confirm they taste bad, and the bitterness stays in your mouth for a while. You can thank denatonium benzoate for that. It's one of the most unpleasant tastes out there, and carts are coated with it so people and pets won't accidentally swallow them. Before we had better storage for books and records, they'd be kept in places where mice and rats could easily munch on them. But they'd only chew around the edges. Margin lines were put there to keep the writing away from the edge, so you don't lose any important information to the rodents. Take a closer look at your red Solo party cup. The lines around it are for measuring liquids. The bottom line equals 1 ounce, the second is 5 ounces, and the top line means you have 12 ounces in your cup. You've probably been storing your peanut butter wrong your whole life. The trick is to keep the jar upside down so the oils don't come up on the surface. Sometimes screwdrivers are meant to work together with wrenches. It helps especially if you're working at an awkward angle. Just slide the wrench onto the screwdriver's handle. It fits snugly. And next time you need to put in a hook screw, put the screw eye into your drill. The round end will hold the hook in place and the project will go a lot quicker. If you don't have a screw eye on hand, use a key. The black grating on your microwave door is called a Faraday shield. It prevents the rays from escaping the oven. But get this, it can also block phone signals. So if you're tired of endless calls and texts, put your phone in the microwave. Just don't turn it on. If you get a box of chocolates with a little dent in between the holes for the candy, push it. The chocolate surrounding it will pop right out of their snug little compartments. You shouldn't have to push the sweets from the bottom, though. This way is much quicker. You try to pull out some aluminum foil, but the roll keeps coming out of the box. It's not supposed to. Push in the tabs on the sides of the box. They'll hold the roll in place. Don't throw away those little silica gel packets you get in new shoes and bags. You can use them to absorb moisture in any place it collects. Phone get wet? Put it in a plastic baggie with a silica gel packet. It'll get the water out. Throw one in your shoes to keep them smelling fresh. Tape one to the lid of your pet's food container to keep mold out. You can even put a packet in your toolbox to prevent rust. Women's shirts oddly have buttons on the left, even though most people are right-handed. It comes from the times when upper-class ladies would have handmaidens dress them. The wearer's left became the dresser's right, so it was easy for them. Pants creases have their story too. To squeeze in as many goods as possible to transport them, folded pants got heavily pressed. It was next to impossible to get rid of the resulting creases, so why not make them fashionable? There's a loop on the back of your button-up shirt so you can hang it without it getting wrinkled. And fun fact, back in the day, it showed your availability. Young guys used to cut those loops off once they started dating someone. Doorknobs are usually made of brass, bronze, or some other copper alloys for a reason. They have an antimicrobial effect. They get rid of germs pretty fast, within a couple of hours. But you still have to wash your hands after touching doorknobs. Rough edges on the sides of coins come from an ancient practice. The weight of coins made from precious metals used to show the real value of the coin. People would shave off the edges, melt them together, and make new coins from what they collected. To avoid that, ridges were added, so you could see if a coin had been tampered with. Toothpaste stripes are no more than a marketing trick. In the 70s, a leading toothpaste brand introduced a blue stripe to show that their product had double the action. Solid white toothpaste have the same functions though. Those blue bristles on your brush are a lot more helpful than toothpaste stripes. When they fade, it's time to change your toothbrush. Take the lid off your to-go cup and turn it upside down. You'll get an instant coaster. It has a rim on the inside that your cup bottom fits into perfectly. If you prefer your soda in a bottle, check out the little plastic disc in the cap. It's there to keep the gases in your carbonated drink. Without it, you'd just have syrupy brown water. Ew. Detachable headrests in a car can be used to break the windows in case you get stuck in. Just don't go swinging at the window though, you could hurt yourself. Slide one of the prongs in between the pane and the door. Pull the headrest back towards yourself and the window will shatter. Don't forget about the tab on the bottom of your rearview mirror. Pull it back during nighttime driving. If someone's behind you, their headlights won't be blinding. Pull the tab forward again for daytime driving. The spoon to your McFlurry looks so weird with all those tabs because it's actually fitted to the ice cream machine to stir your treat. Bath foam isn't only for fun or a nice smell. The bubbles keep your bathwater warm for longer. The air inside them acts as insulation. But it only works for acrylic bathtubs. Ones made from metal lose heat really fast either way. Small holes on your headphones let the air circulate, which is a must for good sound quality. Wooden hangers may be bulky, but you should still opt for them over plastic or metal. Hangers made from cedar keeps moths away. The oils in the wood are a natural insect repellent. You can also add some dry orange peels to your closet to keep the bugs away.
TikTok has revealed a hidden secret in card decks. Take a look at the 8 of diamonds. Draw a line connecting the inside points of each diamond and prepare to have your mind blown. Weather broadcasters are looking at a screen of themselves the whole time that they're presenting. They film the broadcast in front of a green screen. All the weather visuals that look to be behind them aren't actually there. Instead, they're looking at a tiny screen which shows them exactly what us viewers see. Baby carrots don't actually exist. They're just normal-sized carrots that have been cut to a smaller size. These baby carrots were created to get rid of the imperfections or slight rotting in the big carrot. Olympic gold medals are actually silver. Wait, what? The last time a true gold medal was awarded to a winner was all the way back in 1912. Since then, only about 1% of the medal's weight is actually gold. Mice don't like cheese. They usually go for foods with way higher sugar content. Also, cheese is man-made, so it's not something they'd find in the wild. Eggplants are called that for a reason. When they are in the early stages of growing, they look exactly like eggs. They're even white before they turn purple. There's actually gravity in space. It helps keep the sun in place and is the reason orbits can happen. The gravity in space, though, is way weaker than that on Earth. While astronauts look like they're floating, they're actually just falling, super slowly. Owls look like they have tiny legs, but lift up their feathers and you're in for a shock. The actual length of their legs will never not be funny. They're wildly long. Shaving doesn't make your hair grow back thicker. It doesn't affect the thickness, growth rate, or color at all. This is just a common myth. Why is candy corn called that? It looks nothing like corn, right? Wrong. If you stack the candy in a circle, it looks like corn on the cob. After all these years, one genius TikToker found out that we've been drinking those juice bottles wrong this whole time. If you rip off the top and start chugging, you're doing it wrong. Just cut the very tip of it. Boom, instant straw. But if you break the top off like you did your whole life, turn it upside down, put the straw end down in the hole, and now you've got an instant lid. Your luggage doesn't actually get packed onto the airplane by that conveyor belt you see. There's actually a worker inside who stacks all the luggage perfectly to maximize storage space. This guy must be a Tetris pro. You've been eating bananas wrong this whole time. Don't peel it from the long bit at the top. If you instead squeeze the brown tip at the bottom, the skin will pop open. It then peels super easily and you avoid getting all that annoying gunk under your fingernails. Your coffee cup lid isn't just for drinking out of it. It has a hidden secret function. Put the lid underneath your cup and you'll have the perfect drip mat to avoid coffee stains. Sick of your cereal going dry and gross? TikTok has you covered. Instead of leaving the flaps at the top of the box open, you can fold them in on themselves to reseal the box. Take both small side flaps and tuck them into the box. Then, take one of the long flaps and tuck that in too. Fold the two shorter sides of the box into a V shape and push them in and voila! Your box is sealed. Despite what you might think, Egypt isn't the country with the most pyramids. It's actually Sudan. Sudan has between 200 and 255 known pyramids, while Egypt has 138. Penguins actually have knees. While it might look like the little guys just have tiny feet sticking out of their body, they have long legs that are covered by all those dense feathers.
Make your life brighter and get a brightside tee. Pick your own print. Just follow the link below.
Leave wasps alone, and they'll leave you alone, right? Wrong. While this works for bees, the nasty wasps will sting you unprovoked. They also get more angry depending on the seasons and how close you are to their nest. We've been pouring our carton juice wrong this whole time. Instead of pouring with the hole closest to your glass, flip the carton so that the hole is further away. Your juice will pour much more smoothly and you won't get stains all over your tablecloth. Your wood cabinet might not even be wood. One viral TikTok shows someone painting a surface with brown paint. Then they drag a grain effect stencil across the paint to make it look like natural wood grain. Take a closer look at the division symbol. It's actually just a blank fraction. The dots are there in place of a numerator and denominator. Not all watermelons are red inside. Just like apples, there's a ton of different varieties. There's yellow, orange, pink, and white. Each different type has a unique shape, size, and texture. Yellow and orange ones are way sweeter than our normal variety. Turtles can't leave their shells or switch to a new fancier one. The shell isn't an accessory, it's a part of their body. It's just as much a part of the body as our skeleton is to ours. There's no proof that Vikings ever wore horns on their helmets. The horns on helmets misconception actually comes from an opera scene. 65% of Americans believe that we only use 10% of our brain, but that's not the case. Brain scans have shown that all parts of our brain are almost always active.